What are some of the favorite films that your scenes that you think about when you think about, wow, that was a really well edited film?
Well, it really depends on the film that I'm working on. I look back at films, or I see sometimes new films that I've missed, or new films that are just coming out for inspiration. And they don't necessarily have to be like the same type of films, but sometimes, like if I'm working on a competitive film, I'll watch some very different competitive films just to see how they made the competitive feel really intense, the competition feel really intense, or how do you deal with that many characters? And or I watch a lot of openings, so it really depends. I mean, with archival, I've definitely been very inspired, especially when I was working on Frida by Asif Karapia. Can you make sure that you get his name right? Because I'm always mispronouncing it. So he, especially Senna was a very important film in terms of thinking about archival for me. Um, and I'm Not Your Negro was also a really seminal film for me. Especially like the poetry of archival and visuals, without necessarily, like, it's not a verite film. But in terms of, like, I mean, verite films have also been, really present in my work. You know, Cutie and the Boxer was a big one. Dark Days it really like impressed me, and that was before I got into film. Lately, boy, the film about the fire was it the fire in Ukraine? It was not that long ago. Um, about the investigation. It was nominated. But recently, like, I just watched Wilt and Harper, which I loved. And I'm looking forward to watching other things. Nikki Giovanni, um, last year was incredibly impressive. Yeah, it's just I yeah. I mean, I always go back to films where when I'm watching them, I'm just like immersed in them. And that's, if I'm not thinking about how they did it, but it grabs my heart. That's my goal for my own films. Like, I just want to be able to hopefully grab some hearts in the audience, right? And if a film does that to me, then I go back to that, often.
Yeah. Was the film you were talking about called Fire in Ukraine? Ukraine on Fire.
No, that is a different one. Maybe it wasn't Ukraine.
Oh, I'll follow up with you. We'll find out. We'll add it. And I found a Sif Karapia Senna. I found that. So,
Yeah.
do you feel like you have techniques, like go-to techniques that you always find yourself using in your own work?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think that there's definitely a signature, that I have. Um, and I think we mostly, like, sometimes I can identify other editors if I haven't seen their credits. Like, I can see what Kid Amen did, or Kim Roberts, or um Aaron Wickened. Um, so yeah, but I think that I mean, that's why it's so helpful to have collaborators, because their take, or their comments and their feedback, or even just collaborating on the story together, it like shakes you up a little bit, so that they bring just like either a single fresh idea that opens up like different possibilities of how to tackle a scene. And then watching other films always also like shakes me out of like the stuff that I would continuously do all the time. Yeah, I mean, it's like we all walk in a way, right? Like, we all have a walk, we all have our movements, like all the pictures of me like interviewing lately, this is what I do with my hands all the time. There's a lot of pictures of me like this. So it's similar with the work that we do. There is a rhythm to it, or there is things that attracts us in terms of like how to use images that I think it's, you know, it's intrinsic to our nature.